Hey guys, this is Brad and Mike from Dallas Geek, and today we're gonna do some comic reading recommendations.
Because yes, we read comics.
I mean, it would be a shame if we didn't.
I feel like that should have been a given, but
Obvious.
I've actually had friends of mine like, "Do you actually read comics?" I'm like, "Let me show you my collection, son."
Our whole podcast, the whole premise of what we're doing is, nerd-centric entertainment, but more than anything else, entertainment that's based around comics or has some comic connection.
Right.
So,
except for yours, because
there's
you really just had to.
There's cinematic and comic ties on both.
Just damn it.
Shame on you. Well, with that, I'll go first, just to
You couldn't be somewhat normal.
piss you off.
You couldn't be somewhat normal. You couldn't go with like Batman or Superman or something like that. No.
My recommendation is going to be definitely an older comic and is no longer part of Star Wars canon.
For good reason. Nah, I don't know. God, you guys see how pissed off you got? That's hilarious.
I will murder you. I will murder you. And yes, this is my public admission.
So if I end up missing, the address that I am probably buried at is...
So, it's going to be Star Wars Dark Empire. This is categorically one of the best Star Wars stories ever written. Shame. Just shame.
All right, I'll stop. I'll stop.
It has amazing art, very classic comic book artwork. This was published back in...
Probably would have helped if you'd looked at that before.
I mean, it was published back in 95.
The trade or the actual story ran in 95?
The story ran in 95. The trade was
probably
later
like
that
the end
year.
of 95.
Yes,
96, yeah.
but the whole premise of the story is what happened when the Emperor was resurrected after the destruction of the second Death Star in the body of a clone and turned Luke Skywalker evil to take his father's place as the Emperor's right hand.
So the clone was turned evil, or Luke was turned evil?
Luke was turned evil. The clone, clone of Emperor is always evil.
That makes sense.
So it's amazing. Absolutely worth your time. No, none of that is a spoiler, but it is, like I said, one of the best Star Wars stories ever written. And go read it, go find it. It is published back when Dark Horse Comics was still publishing Star Wars. So because
I was about to say, how long has it been that was it just recent?
It was
when Disney bought Marvel. Is that when the switch happened?
I think it was a year after Disney bought
So basically, the contract ran out with Dark Horse,
and they decided to go with their in-house publisher, Marvel.
Yeah.
So,
which I heard the Marvel stuff isn't bad.
The storyline's not really that bad, but the art, I love the artwork that Dark Horse did. Their artists were just, I had more of a preference.
That is fantastic artwork.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
So, go find it. Worth your time. Mike?
I've got two because I'm special. First one I'm going with is The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb. This is, for anybody that's seen The Dark Knight, this is the story arc that this is the story arc that Nolan took the most out of and made The Dark Knight with. He did a couple of story arcs. He did, I think, there was The Man That Laughs, about the Joker being the psychopath that he is, but the whole, the three of them, Batman, Gordon, and Harvey Dent wanting to come together to kind of take down the organized crime in Gotham. This is where that most comes from. It's called The Long Halloween basically because there's a subplot where there's a guy called the Holiday Killer that kills some kind of gangster on every major holiday. That's one thing I actually really wish that would have made it into The Dark Knight, but it didn't.
Well, there was already enough in there.
Yeah, but that would have been a nice little sub thing because that really kind of dives into the detective aspect of Batman.
Sure.
But I mean, they have Detective Comics for that. But the artwork is fantastic. Jeff Loeb. This is back when Jeff Loeb was doing great writing. Then he went to Marvel and his run in the Ultimate Universe was kind of terrible. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but that's not so much an indictment of him as the Ultimate Universe.
The Ultimate Universe has some decent stuff in it.
It does, but as a whole, it's harder to find as many good stories as it was in the regular Marvel.
You're not wrong, but Ultimatum was not good. We're just gonna.
I'm not even going to put my opinion out there on that one, but
Ultimatum
okay.
was not good. But he has seemed to turn it around lately. He is the president of Marvel TV right now, so he's doing
Yes.
great work over there.
Yes.
But yes, this is if you're a true Batman fan, or if you loved the Nolan Batman series, and you want that kind of tone, that kind of pacing in your reading and everything like that, and you haven't read this, pick it up. Pick it up now. In fact, private message me. I'll maybe give you my copy. I don't know. You can have my copy too. You want my copy?
You're just trying to hit on the fans, aren't you?
Always.
That's weird, dude.
Always.
That's weird.
Always. You got to build up a network, man. Second choice. Messiah Complex. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, quick little history lesson. Basically, after the events of House of...
Oh, show it off. Show it off for more than a second.
That's true. We can't get sued for this, right?
Nah, we're not showing content. We're just showing the cover.
So for those of you guys that don't know too much about the X-Men, basically after the events of House of M, Scarlet Witch basically goes crazy and demutinizes.
Close enough.
Yeah. She basically takes away the powers of about 95% of the mutant population in the Marvel Universe. At one point, they only dropped down to like 180 mutants that still have their powers, are still active. So they're kind of becoming an endangered species. And this is basically the story of a little girl named Hope that's born with her mutant powers. So she doesn't get them at puberty like normal mutants. She's born a mutant. And this is basically the story of there are some people that want her dead because they want to see the mutants go extinct. And then this is the story of the X-Men trying to keep her alive.
Sort of like a Children of Men kind of storyline.
Yes, and then you have Cable coming back from the future as well, and you have no idea what the hell his intentions are.
Sure.
But this is the introduction of a really great character, Hope Summers. Spoilers, I guess. Whatever. Go read it.
It's been out for a little bit. I'd say it's not that big of a spoiler.
I mean, I would hope not, man. Like, because this ran in X-Men 492, X-Men 205, Uncanny, X-Factor, all of that. So this is really all of the X-Men books kind of converging on for this huge crossover event that really... When did this run?
Look who didn't check before we started.
Hey, shut up. Find where that ran.
Can't read the fine print, can you, old man?
Shut up. I don't have my bifocals. Okay, anyway. So, after the events of House of M and the depletion of the X-Men population, the X-Men comics took a darker tone.
2007, 2008.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
So they took a more darker, kind of more bleak tone. This was more the return back to the hopeful, vibrant, like, stories from when we were younger, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is actually probably one of my more favorite X-Men modern runs. So I would definitely say pick it up, give it a read. And then you have the Messiah War after that, and then you have a couple of other really good tie-ins. And a couple of other really good crossovers that span from this specific crossover. So pick it up, read it. It's great.
All right. Well, then, on that note, I guess that's about all we have.
Yep.
So until next time, this is Brad Mike from Dallas Geek saying, see ya.